while the Bhagava was dwelling at Savatthi, upon an observance day. Uposatha, fortnightly fasting and confession. Many lay followers, both men and women, in observance of the day performed their almsgiving in the forenoon, each in accordance with his means, had their meal in time and dressed in clean garments with clean mantles and with perfumes and flour in their hands went in the afternoon to the monastery, attended on the monks who inspire the mind, and in the evening listened to Dharma. While they were still listening and wanted to stay in the monastery, it became dark. Then a certain woman thought, they ought to light a lamp here, and she had a lamp and things to light it with brought from her own house, lit the lamp, placed it in front of the Dharma seat and listened to the Dharma. Pleased by her gift of the lamp, she became filled with joy and happiness, and after paying homage went to her home. Afterwards she died and was reborn in the realm of the 33 in a mansion of brilliant jewels. But as the luminance of her body was very great, she outshone the other devas and diffused radiance in the 10 direction. Now one day the venerable Elder Monk Maha Moggallana on a dava tour. But here he put his question begging with the 3 verses. You who stand with surpassing beauty, Devata, are making all the quarters shining like the healing star. Because of what is your beauty such? Because of what do you prosper here, and there arise whatever are those delights that are dear to your heart? Because of what are you Devata of radiance of purity, outshining? Because of what are all the quarters made effulgent by all your limbs? I ask you, Devi of great majesty, what merit did you perform when you were born a human being? Because of what is your brilliant majesty thus and your beauty illumines all the quarters? That Devata, delighted at being questioned by Moggallana, when asked the question explained of what deed this was the result. When in a former birth I was born a human being among men in the world of men. When there was dense darkness on a very black night, I gave a lamp at the time for lamp. Who, when there is dense darkness on a very black night, gives a lamp at the time for lamp arises in a mansion of brilliant jewels abounding in blossoms with many white lotuses. Because this is my beauty such, because of this do I prosper here, and there arise whatever are those delights that are dear to my heart. Because of this am I a Devata of radiance of purity, outshining. Because of this all the quarters are illuminated by all my limbs. I make known to you, monk of great majesty, what merit I performed when I was born a human being. Because of this is my brilliant majesty thus, and my beauty illumines all the quarters. SESAMUM-GIFT Mansion. The Bhagava was staying at Savatthi, in Jetavana in Anathapindika's park. At that time in Rajagaha a certain woman who was with child washed some sesame and dried it in the sun because she wanted to drink a little sesame oil. Her lifespan had now come to its end, and she was destined to die that very day, and her accumulated deeds were conducive to hell. Now the Bhagava, while surveying the earth at the time of dawn, saw her with the divine eye and thought, this woman dying today may be reborn in hell. Now then, let me by accepting sesame as alms cause her to reach heaven. In but a few moments he went from Savatthi to Rajagaha, and as he walked for alms through Rajagaha he came to the door of her house. The woman saw the Bhagava and, filled with joy and happiness, rose suddenly, clasped her hands, and seeing nothing else fit to give, she washed her hands and feet, and making a heap of some sesame seeds, cupped both her hands, and filling the hollow of them she placed a handful of the sesame in the Bhagava's bowl. The Bhagava, in compassion for her, said, "Be you happy," and went on his way. That night in the time towards dawn, the woman died and was reborn in the realm of the 33 in a 12-yojana golden mansion. The Venerable Elder Monk Maha Moggallana on a deva tour, as described above, came across her and asked her, "You who stand with surpassing beauty, Devata, are making all quarters radiant like the healing star. Because of what is your beauty such? Because of what do you prosper here and there arise whenever are those delights that are dear to your heart? I ask you, Devi of great majesty, what merit did you perform when you were bound a human being? Because of what is your brilliant majesty thus and your beauty illumines all the quarters?" That Devata, delighted at being questioned by Moggallana, when asked the question explained of what deed this was the result. "When in former birth I was born a human being among men in the world of men, I saw the awakened one without defilements, serene in mind, without confusion. Meeting him, having joy, I gave a gift with my own hands, without desire, a gift of honor of sesame to the awakened one who was worthy of a gift of honor. Because of this is my beauty such, because of this do I prosper here and there arise whatever are those delights that are dear to my heart. I make known to you, monk of great majesty, what merit I performed when I was born a human being. Because of this is my brilliant majesty, thus and my beauty illumines all the quarters." First chaste wife mansion. The Bhagava was dwelling at Savatthi. In that city there was a chaste wife. She lived in harmony with her husband, was patient and intelligent. She did not cold when angry. Who was of gentle speech, truthful, filled with faith and with joyful mind, and she gave alms according to her means. Afflicted by some sort of disease she died and was reborn among the 33. The rest is just as had been told. Divine herons, peacocks, geese, and sweet-voiced cuckoos fly around this delightful mansion, flower-strewn, of various colors, frequented by men and women. Devi of great majesty, there you stay by psychic power assuming manifold forms. And these, your nymphs on every side dance, sing, and enjoy themselves. You are attained to the psychic potency of Devas, one of great majesty. What merit did you perform when you were born a human being? Because of what is your brilliant majesty thus your beauty illumines all the quarters. That Devata, delighted at being questioned by Moggallana when asked the question explained of what deed this was the result. When I was born a human being among men I was a chaste wife thinking of no other. Like a mother protecting a child, I spoke no rough words even when I was angry. Firm in the truth, false speaking got rid of, delighting in giving donation, of a sympathetic nature, with a mind of bliss I gave both food and drink respectfully, and abundant giving of donation. Because of this is my beauty such, because of this do I prosper here, and there arise whatever are those delight that are dear to my heart. I make known to you, monk of great majesty, what merit I performed when I was born a human being. Because of this is my brilliant majesty thus and my beauty illumines all the quarters. Second chaste wife mansion. In Savatthi it is said was another laywoman follower who was a chaste wife, with faith and joy. She observed the 5 precepts, gave alms according to her means and, dying, was reborn in the realm of the 33. The rest is as described previously. Ascending a mansion pillared in beryl, gleaming, lustrous, of various colors, there you dwell, Devi of great majesty, by psychic potency assuming manifold forms. And these, your nymphs on every side dance, sing, and enjoy themselves. You are attained to the psychic potency of Devas, one of great majesty. What merit did you perform when were born as a human being? Because of what is your brilliant majesty thus and your beauty illumines all the quarters. That Devata, delighted at being questioned by Moggallana, when asked the question explained of the what deed this was the result. When I was born a human being among men, a laywoman follower of the one with vision was I. was one who refrained from killing of creatures. I shunned in this world what was not given. I was not one who drank liquor, nor did I tell lies. I was content with my own husband. With a mind of joy I gave both food and drink respectfully, an abundant giving of donation. Because of this is my beauty such, because of this do I prosper here, and there arise whatever those delight that are dear to my heart. I make known to you, monk of great majesty, what merit I performed when I was born a human being. Because of this is my brilliant majesty thus, and my beauty illumines all the quarters. First daughter-in-law mansion. In Savatthi, in a certain house, a daughter-in-law who came of good family saw an elder monk, on who had destroyed the cankers, come to the house for alms, and, filled with joy and happiness, thinking, there has arisen a field of highest merit for me, she took the portion of rice cake she had received for herself and gave it respectfully to the elder. The elder accepted it, thanked her, and went on. Later the daughter-in-law died and was reborn among the 33. All the rest in the same as that explained above. You who stand with surpassing beauty, Devata, are making all the quarters shining like the healing star. Because of what is your beauty such? Because of what do you prosper here, and there arise whatever are those delights that are dear to your heart? I ask you, Devi of great majesty, what merit did you perform when you were born a human being? Because of what is your brilliant majesty thus, and your beauty illumines all the quarters? That Devata, delighted at being questioned by Moggallana, when asked the question explained of what deed this was the result. When I was born a human being among men, I was a daughter-in-law in my father-in-law house. I saw a monk without defilements, serene in mind, without confusion. To him I, having blissful mind, with my own hands gave rice cake. Having given him half my portion I rejoice in Nandana grove. Because of this is my beauty such, because of this do I prosper here, and there arise whatever are those delights that are dear to my heart. Because of this is my brilliant majesty thus, and my beauty illumines all the quarters. Vimanavathu. Second daughter-in-law mansion. The same as the preceding mansion, except here the gift was Kamasa. You who stand with surpassing beauty, Devata, are making all the quarter shining like the healing star. Because of what is your beauty such? Because of what do you prosper here, and there arise whatever are those delights that are dear to your heart? I ask you, Devi of great majesty, what merit did you perform when you were born a human being? Because of what is your brilliant majesty thus, and your beauty illumines all the quarters? That Devata, delighted at being questioned by Moggallana, when asked the question explained of what deed this was the result. When I was born a human being among men, I was a daughter-in-law in my father-in-law's house. I saw a monk without defilements, serene in mind without confusion. To him I, having blissful mind, with my own hands gave a portion. Having given a lump of Kamasa, I rejoice in Nandana grove. Because of this is my beauty such, because of this do I prosper here, and there arise whatever are those delights that are dear to my heart. Because of this is my brilliant majesty thus, and my beauty illumines all the quarters. Vimanavathu. Uttara's mansion. The Bhagava was dwelling in Rajagaha at the squirrels' feeding place in Bamboo Grove. At that time a poor man, Punna by name, lived as a dependent upon a banker of Rajagaha. His wife, Uttara, and daughter named Uttara, were the only two people in his home. Now one day in Rajagaha there was a 7-day festival. The banker heard of it, and when Punna came early in the morning he said, "My dear, our servants want to celebrate the festival. Will you celebrate the festival, or will your work for wages?" Master, said Punna, such a thing as a festival is for the rich, and in my house there is not even rice to make gruel for tomorrow. What is a festival to me? If I get oxen I will go to plough. Well then, take the oxen, said the master. Punna took powerful oxen and a fine plough and said to his wife, My dear, the townsfolk are celebrating a festival. I am going to earn wages since we are poor, but for me too, just today, cook a double portion of food and bring it to me. Then he went to the field. Now the elder Sariputta, who had entered on cessation for 7 days, emerged therefrom, and surveying and thinking, Now to whom today will I have the chance to do a kindness? He saw Punna had come within the net of his perception, and surveying he thought, Now is this man a believer? Will he be able to do a kindness to me? Realizing that Punna was a believer and able to do a kindness, and on that account effecting for him great attainment, he took bowl and robe, went to the field where he was ploughing, and stood there looking at a bush at the edge of the field. As soon as Punna saw the elder he stopped his ploughing, greeted the elder with the fivefold veneration, and saying to himself, he needs a toothstick, gave him a toothstick making it permissible for use. Then the elder drew his bowl and water strainer from his bag for carrying the bowl and gave to him saying to himself, he needs drinking water. Punna took it, strained drinking water and gave it. The elder thought, this man lives in the very last house of all. If I go to the door of the house, his wife will not be able to see me. I will remain here itself till his wife sets out upon the high road with his meal. He waited there a little while, and when he knew that she was on the way, he set out in the direction of the city. When the woman saw the elder on the road she thought, sometimes when I have something worth giving I see no one worthy to receive it. Sometimes when I see a worthy person there is nothing worth giving. By today I see a worthy person and at the same time I have a gift worth giving. Surely will he do a kindness to me. She put down the dish with the food in it, greeted the elder with the fivefold veneration, and said, Sir, without giving thought to whether this is coarse or fine fare, do a kindness to your servant. Then the elder held out his bowl, and as she held the dish with one hand and was giving him rice from it with the other, he said enough when exactly half the dish was served and he covered over his bowl with his hand. She said, Sir, one portion cannot be divided into 2 parts. If you will not do a kindness to your servant in respect of this world, do one for the sake of the next. I want to give all, without any remainder whatsoever. And so saying, and having put every bit into his bowl, she made the aspiration, Let me be a participant in the Dharma you have realized. The elder said, So be it, thanked her while he was still standing, and when he had sat down in a convenient place where there was water, he ate his meal. The woman went home, searched for some rice, and cooked a meal. Punna meanwhile had ploughed a half karissa of land, and being unable to endure his hunger, had unyoked the oxen, gone into the shade of a tree and sat down watching the road. Now as his wife was going along with the food and saw him she thought, he is sitting watching for me, oppressed with hunger. If he rails against me, saying, She is very late, and should strike me with the goad stick, the deed which I have done will become of no effect. I will speak to him first so as to prevent it. With this mind she said, Master, today just this one day gain fervor at heart, make not a deed which I have done of no effect. While I was bringing your meal very early, on the way I saw the captain of Dharma. I gave him your meal, then I went home, cooked a meal, and have come. Gain fervor, Master. He asked, What are you saying, wife? And when he had heard the story again he said, Wife, you did exactly right giving my food to this worthy one. I, too, today, very early, gave him a toothstick and water for his mouth. And with a mind of happiness, he was content with her story, and being tired from taking his meal late in the day, he put his head in her lap and fell asleep. Now all of the place plowed early in morning, including the crushed earth, became bright gold and remained resplendent like a heap of Kanakara flowers. When Punna woke, he looked and said to his wife, "Wife, all this plowed land looks to me as though it had became gold. Now tell me, are not my eyes unsettled because I ate my meal so late in afternoon?" "Master," she said, "it looks just that way to me too." He got up, went there, took up a clod, hit it on the head of the plough, saw that it was gold, and cried, "Aha! The resultant for the alms given to the worthy captain of Dharma has made its appearance today already. But clearly it is not possible to enjoy in secrecy the use of so much wealth." He filled with gold the dish brought by his wife, went to the king's palace, and gaining permission from the king, entered and made his obeisance, and when the king said, "What is it, my man?" he said, "Majesty, today the land which I had plowed all became quite filled with a heap of gold and stayed that way. The gold ought to be sent for." "Who are you?" asked the king. "Punna Punna is my name." King asked, "But what have you done today?" Punna said, "Very early this morning I gave toothstick and water for the mouth to the captain of Dharma, and my wife, too, gave him the food that was brought as a meal for me." When the king heard this, he said, "This very day the resultant will have appeared for the alms given," and he asked, "My man, what shall we do?" "Dispatch many thousand carts and have the gold brought to you," said Punna. The kind dispatched the carts. As the king's men were taking the gold and saying, "It belongs to the king," each piece as they picked it up became nothing but earth. When they went and told the king, he asked them, "My men, what did you say as you took it?" And they answered, "That it belonged to you." The king said, "In that case, my men, go again and as you collect it, say, 'It belongs to Punna.'" They did so. Each piece picked up remained gold. They brought it all and made a heap in the royal courtyard. 80 cubits high was the heap. The king had the townsmen summoned. "Has anyone in this city so much gold?" He asked them. "No one, Majesty. But what ought to be given to this man?" "The umbrella of a Savatthi, Majesty." The king said, "Let him be Savatthi of great wealth," and gave him the umbrella of a Savatthi and much wealth. Then Punna said to the king, "Majesty, all this time we have been living in the home of another. Give us a place to live in." The king said, "In that case, look. This appears to be jungle. Clear it off and build a house," and he showed him the site of the home of a former Savatthi. Within only a few days he had a house built on that site. And performing the ceremony of entering the house and the ceremony of his investiture of rank, all in one, he gave alms for 7 days to the order with the Buddha at the head. Afterwards the banker of Rajagaha asked for the daughter of Punna in marriage for his son. He said, "I will not give her." "Do not act thus," said the banker, "you got your luck at the very time you were living with us. Give your daughter to my